Hello YouTubers, we're on an all-new episode of Hidden Gems, and today I'm going to be going over the 2006 film Candy, starring Heath Ledger, Abby Cornish, Geoffrey Rush, Tony Martin as Mr. Wyatt, and Nani Hazelhurst as Mrs. Wyatt. It is directed by Neil Armfield. So Candy was a 2006 film that was basically an all-Australian film, an Aussie film, and I did not see it till years later after Heath Ledger passed away. And I must say, it is a very underrated movie, and again, on Hidden Gems, I like to bring up what I think are underrated or underappreciated or overlooked films. And Candy is definitely one of those films, not only with the subject matter, and it being based on a novel, but as far as Heath Ledger's performances, this is a really deep film, and it's not for the faint of heart. He gives one of the best performances of his career in this. He gets a lot of accolades for Brokeback Mountain and as well as some other films, but this one is very overlooked. He gives an Oscar-worthy performance in this. It's a heavy film. He plays a heroin addict named Dan, and he falls in love with this girl played by Abby Cornish named Candy. So it's about their relationship, and not only their love for each other, but their love for the drug of heroin and them dealing with heroin addiction. So we get to hear the film through like a narration from Heath Ledger, Dan, and it's broken up in 3 different parts called Heaven, Earth, and Hell, and it's pretty much like the overview of their relationship as well as their addiction to the drug. It starts off like a romantic film pretty much. Candy was like an aspiring actress. She was a college student when she met Dan, and she wasn't really an addict. She wasn't a junkie, and she got addicted when she was living with him, and he has this quote saying like, I didn't want to screw her life up, it's just I wanted to make my life better. And it's about their addiction not only to each other but to the drug. And eventually she becomes a call girl prostitute and then just a full-fledged just junkie by the end of it. And it's a very self-destructing and hard film to watch. The direction and everything is very powerful here. I'm not going to give too much spoilers away, but this is not for the faint of heart again. And it's nice seeing the story of the relationship and also how self-destructive they become. Not only as individuals with their addiction, but with each other in their relationship and the addiction. Which one's going to take over, their love for each other or their love of the drug? And that's a very interesting dynamic in this film. This film is up there with like Requiem for a Dream and stuff. It really shows you the dark side of drug use. It is a rough and raw film. It's a powerful film. This film will stay with you. If you do not do drugs, you don't want to do any drugs after seeing this movie. And it does feel very real, I guess. If you have gone through addiction, it shows you what it's like, how addicting it can be, but also trying to withdraw, how hard it is, how much you go through as an individual, going cold turkey with sweat, vomiting, hitting yourself, just different things like that. Ultimately, with their relationship, Candy's parents disapprove of Dan. And you really get to see that at their wedding. He's using heroin in the bathroom during their wedding, and it's very good performances from the parents because they basically disagree with Dan. They don't approve of him, but it's very subtle. It's not really like, you stay away from my daughter entirely. The mother's kind of like that, but the dad's more reserved. You can see their hesitancy of not wanting to lose Candy, their daughter, but also their disapproval, and it's very subtle and it feels very real, ultimately to its climax towards the 3rd act of the film. Abby Cornish does a fantastic job as Candy. You get to see her as that type of innocent girl at the beginning compared to just the desperate junkie who's just damaged at the end. And yeah, Heath Ledger gives among one of his best performances in this. He said he used his addiction to cigarettes to aid in this performance. However, cigarette addiction and heroin addiction is 2 totally different things. But I like how he did another totally Aussie film before he passed away. There was another underrated film called Two Hands, which he did way before this. But this is a very underrated movie and overlooked. I'm just ashamed that I didn't get to see it when he was alive in 2006. I didn't see it until years later, probably around 2009, when I saw it in the United States. on Showtime. It is a great film. And yeah, you get to see the relationship and then ultimately her become pregnant, them dealing with a baby while also trying to withdraw from drugs, and just the downward spiral of that, of losing a baby, of just going through different things and not being able to get off the drug, and ultimately making sacrifices within their lives, basically. It's a very intense and intimate film. Cinematography and music is excellent. They do some stuff with the cameras, with camera movement. There's this opening shot where they're like on this merry-go-round thing, and they're just spinning around, and it's just him and Candy, and it's almost like a euphoric type of ecstasy feel, not only with the relationship of them being in love, but with them on the drug. Geoffrey Rush plays like a little bit of a dealer slash father figure named Casper. He plays a very good part. He's pretty much like their friend slash father figure who helps them out, the kiddos out. He supplies them with stuff. He gives them money when they're in need. And this also shows you that they put the drugs before any other things. Their priorities are whack. They're total junkies. And I just love all the performances in this. I love the way it's filmed, the music. The way it's edited flows very well, and I like how it's broken up. Maybe it's because it's based on a novel, but with Heaven, Earth, and Hell, we really get to see the three sides of it, not only with, again, the relationship, but with the drug use. Candy is just one of those rare, powerful films that is just a reflection of life, really, of a darker side of life that is not really shown very much and doesn't really need to be seen. But it is a very raw film. It strikes a chord with the viewer. And I just wanted to bring it to your attention on Hidden Gems because I think it is not only an underrated film, period, it's one of the better drug films out there, and is also one of the better Heath Ledger performances. It's in my top 5. It's up there with Joker from Dark Knight. I mean, Candy, you get all these other accolades with Brokeback Mountain, but like there's this one scene, and for those who have seen it, you know what scene I'm talking about. There's this one scene where Heath Ledger just breaks your heart with his acting. Like there's just raw emotion and just like hurt and heartbreak of him making a sacrifice, and it is such an emotional scene there. And a lot of that is him playing off of Abby Cornish and vice versa, but also having a great script, a great story to tell with the writing. It really aids in the film's story. So I would give Candy an A+. Candy is a very, very great film. And yeah, that's all I'm going to give away for spoilers. If you have not seen it, you should definitely see it. There's a lot of great romantic moments. I love the relationship there. The drug moments are such intense scenes. I also like the appearance. You really get to see the different sides of him, the different seasons, the different years, how time overlaps in certain parts of the film. And yet, it is brutal and just outright raw and just vicious at times. It just strikes a chord with you, and what you see you cannot unsee. It really does leave you with something. It impacts you in a certain way, makes you think. It also just, you're just like, wow, you feel moved by the end of the film. The director does such a fantastic job with this, and I would definitely go check out Candy. If you have checked out Candy, let me know in the comments below. Discuss what did you think about the film, what are your favorite parts, and if you have not checked out Candy, take my recommendation here on Hidden Gems. Go check out Candy, but I warn you, it's not for the faint of heart, but if you're in for a good drama, a tragic romantic story, and just a great underrated Heath Ledger performance, then you definitely need to check out Candy. It is among one of his best films, and I'm just shocked that nobody's really talked about it. That is very obscure. It's not very well known, and that's sad because to me, out of all the other films he did, this one really does have a great performance from him as a character of Dan. He's very, very complex as an individual. There's moments where you believe that Candy and Dan want to get better, that they do want to change their lives, but they cannot. And the drug overtakes both of them, and it begins to affect their relationship to the point of just pure chaos. Pure chaos incarnate. And it's just tragic. It really is tragic. So yeah, definitely, if you haven't, check out Candy. Anyway, that is my review of Candy. I just wanted to bring it to your attention, and yeah, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. If you have, let me know in the comments below what did you think of it, discuss it, and if you like this video, click the like button, comment, and subscribe for more videos.